The Showa era movies were something else. And it's just, they were varying quality. 1965 to 1971 and then 1980. We got a true roller coaster of movies. But then when you get the legendary Heisei trilogy, and one of them that contains Gamera to Advent of Legion. I just realized like a couple days ago, I was watching number one, that this was the 60th anniversary of Gamera. So, what better way to celebrate the second most successful King of the Monsters, if you will, than by truly just celebrating it and reviewing every single movie. 1 year after the events of the previous film, Earth's ecosystem is under attack by an insect life form from outer space bent on colonizing our world. As the city of Sendai is destroyed, Gamera must protect the planet from the monster Legion and get some help from Japan's Self-Defense Forces, JSDF. Following the smash success of the first film in the trilogy, Gamera 2 brings the dream team of director Shusuke Kaneko, writer Kazunori Ito, and special effects director Shinji Higuchi back together for a film that arguably improves on its predecessor, takes the kaiju genre places it had never gone before. Top of this insert this trilogy amongst the greatest movie trilogies. Top 100, I would say easily, because not everyone knows about it. But when you want to talk about practical effects du jour, you want to talk about a desperate skirmish towards the end, and a very great scientific approach to how the monster behaves and its continents and things like that. This is the movie right here. Now, I like this movie a lot. This is the definition of a slow burn, because we don't get Gamera for 30 minutes in. But however, we do get some intensive scenes with the smaller insect beetle-esque creatures, which is fine. It's fine. This is more of the military approach to things. So let me explain. There are some, of course, when the meteor strikes, no one can find out what's going on, and there is some glass that erupts inside a beer factory, and and lack of oxygen that causes a flame from a lighter to just propel upwards, which was kind of funny. And we were wondering what's going on here. And then they get into it of like something with like the silicone that silicone composes the structure of each of each beetle, and how they are looking for that in order to help mutate. And because it's like silicone is made from sand, there's plenty of it around on the planet and stuff like that in the core, and that's why they attacked those areas. They also went to Tokyo, right around the tower, of course, to look for the electromagnetic waves, so we can just, this mother effer can just continue to intensify and expand. So that's why I like it. This explanation feels natural to explain it into a great way of making this feel like a genuinely great villain, just like how they did with Gauss and Barugan. This is what it is. I'm like, good. I want some explanation. It's always nice to get some explanation with scientific means. This is a intelligent movie, okay? And of course, we get the military coming in, and they're deciding what to do. It's like sending in the tanks, sending in the airplanes and stuff like that. There was a funny shot of which the tanks just like slowly just up here from a building, and they just in slow motion go downhill, looking like these are some badass mother effing tanks. It's like, yeah, we're tanks. We rock. We're gonna take down this monster. And then, why? It's just such a comical scene. You just gotta see it. And just, it's like, it's the military engagement strategies, execution, and just everything else as they're trying to deal. Is Gamera really a he's not a friend to all children, he's more just a guardian of the earth, if you will. So it takes a little bit for them to be convinced, saying, hey, he's the one that we have to assist and help defeat Gamera. And yeah, of course, you know, when the military comes in, all these practical effects are in. Here, this movie is filled with great practical effects, especially about 50 minutes in. When the buildings crumble, you could barely tell like what's a real building and a miniature. Certain parts of the miniatures tumble, and of course there's the like little nuclear plant or whatever that Gamera just gets bashed into and really just gets knocked the F out. And it was, I forgot all about that, and I'm like, wow. And he actually does get KO. It's not just like any little cheapo hits from the original. No, he's pretty hit. It's like there's explosion, like explosions all over. And you know, it's like they also do kind of a little bit of a long take where he walks, but ultimately he falls because he had to pretty much just get all the other little Legion monsters off of him, and it takes its toll. Ultimately, he falls, and he goes through a lot of crap in this movie. So I'm like, jeez, just the desperation that's involved, man. It hits. It really does hit. But yeah, there's enough of the military engagement, especially when they're going down in the subway, which was reminiscent of the elevator scene in the original Die Hard, the explosion, which I'm like, of all things to be influenced by, I like that. Yeah, you know, it's like they get some special effects, but you know, it's all just building and building and building. Because when I got this when I was like 24, I didn't know. I would say that at the time was like my least favorite of the trilogy. My opinions changed about it, but it's like I had to keep that in mind and understand. Now I comprehend what the vision was, and I'm like, okay, I can see what's going on. It's the slow burn and desperation that makes this movie work so well. When the military comes out with all the weapons and everything, it's just astonishing, and just explosion after explosion, and it's like the creature itself is just looks like it can just wreck some stuff. It looks like it can just dominate. It actually caused what, a 4-mile wide explosion in Sendai that caused Gamera to just get knocked out, and it was just intense. Yeah. What else? Characters are good. There's again Steven Seagal's daughter. She's not in this as much. She meets the what was that? She meets the cute what is that, entomologist, yeah, animal behavior person. I forgot what her title was, and you know, it's like that gets a little bit more like the what is that, her both the roles get expanded more in the third one. And it's, I mean, okay, the characters here are fine. They're not the greatest in the world, but you know, they work well for what they are. Besides, thank goodness we don't get any little kids. There was a joke, I think, what was that his name, Brandon Tenold, who calls all the child actors in the Showa series like Kennies, which comes from the Mystery Science Theater 3000, where they pretty much just rip apart the English dub and call all the child actors child names Kenny. So yeah, I mean, it's like there's kind of a reference to ones that were there, but they're just there for like emotional support for Gamera. So it was just like, dang, you know. The name Attack of Legion comes from in the Bible, Mark 5 through 9, and he asked me what I was named, and I said I responded with Legion or something like that. I don't know my Bible at all, and that's a story. That's not what we're here for. So yeah, outside of like maybe a couple of like not much happening in roughly the first, I don't know, 30 minutes, which is deliberate and maybe kind of not as pertinent human characters outside of the animal behaviors, the animal behavioral person, and Steven Seagal's daughter, maybe one or two army people. That's really all I can think of. That's wrong with this. This one really does improve upon its predecessor with the special effects, the music, and everything else. Highly recommend you watch Gamera 2 Attack of Legion.